Welcome to my channel, Andra Makes, and a new sewing machine magically jumped into my shopping cart last week, and I'm excited to share it with you. Did I need a new sewing machine? No. Was I looking for a new sewing machine? No. Did I happen to be at the right place at the right time and get an amazing deal? Yes. I'm going to share the backstory with you of how it all happened, and then I'll give you a little tour of the machine and show you everything that came with it. Last Tuesday, my mom and sister and I were shopping in a store called Half Priced Bargains. Do you have one in your area? It's amazing. The premise is they buy truckloads of items that have been returned, and a lot of them haven't even been opened. Some of them have, and they could be slightly used. I see a lot of Amazon Prime boxes when I go, and I've also seen boxes from Kohl's, just anywhere and everywhere. And like I said, a lot of them haven't even been opened, and they have electronics, home goods, clothes, plumbing, sinks, I mean, you name it, anything and everything. And it's kind of warehouse-ish. It's not, they organize it as best they can. The sections are organized, but the boxes are just in there on top of each other. In the middle of the floor, they have these huge round boxes, and inside those there's just boxes and boxes of things piled up. And I'm going to insert some footage to give you an idea of what I'm talking about and what it's like. And you really have to dig to find things, because you have to read on the box of what the item is a lot of times. But that's fine with me because I'm a digger. I love things like that. It's the thrill of the hunt for me. And I try to go at least once a month, and they have obviously different things every time you go, and you really can't wait on anything. If you see it, you better grab it or it'll get gone. And their inventory is constantly changing. And then once a week, they will have half off the already half off price in different categories. Like one week it'll be general merchandise, and the next week it'll be clothes, and sometimes they have clothes, all their clothes are $1. So if you have a store anywhere near you, even within a couple hours, I highly recommend going. I've gotten some really great deals there, although I don't think anything beats the sewing machine that I got. So I was looking around the store, and I turned the corner and I saw a box on the shelf that said Janome, and it didn't register at first, and then I did a double take and I'm like, Janome, all the times I've been in there I have never seen any sewing machines, sergers, anything related to sewing at all. So, and I saw the price, and I immediately did what we all do. I Googled the machine. The box was the box that the machine came in from the factory, so it had the model number and all that on the box. So I immediately Googled that specific machine, and it ranged from $400 to $500. It had amazing reviews. I think Joanne had it for maybe $370. That might have been the lowest price, but the majority was between $400 and $500. So once I saw that and saw the price that was on the box, I had to get it, and I don't think you'll blame me. Here is the box. This box was completely taped up, and the shipping label, who it went to, is still on the box, which is kind of weird, I think. I mean, I see the name and address and everything. It was shipped from a machine embroidery shop in Arizona to someone in New Mexico. I don't want to show the address. And the only thing I could think of is it was refused because the box had not been opened. The sewing machine was completely intact. It was still encased in, you know how they come in all this foam and everything. And none of the bags that had all the feet and the foot pedal and all that, none of that have been opened. So I'm thinking that whomever this went to just refused the package. And anyway, here's the box. It's a Janome HD-3000BE, and HD stands for heavy duty and BE stands for black edition, which I think is super cool. And here, remember, according to Google, this retails anywhere from $400 to $500. And here's the price that I saw. Are you ready? That's right. Can you believe that? $74.50 for a brand new, never used, never taken out of the box, never opened Janome sewing machine. Do you blame me for getting it? And I could have gotten it half price off that if I had waited until the half off day for general merchandise. There was no way I was going to risk that because it would have gotten gone, I'm sure. So I grabbed it, of course. And now I'm going to give you a little tour of the machine and show you everything that came with it. Here's all the feet and supplies that came with my machine. This is the A foot. It is for zigzags and general sewing. This is the B foot. It is for sewing a button on. It's called the transparent buttonhole foot. This is the C foot. It's called the over edge foot. And this is really neat. I'm sure you guys have this foot, but you see the wires on the back? That prevents lightweight fabric from rolling when you sew it. So that's pretty cool. And this is the D foot. It's called the hammer foot. This is the F foot. It is the satin stitch foot for decorative stitches. This is the G foot. It's the blind stitch hem foot. This is a Teflon foot, and it is great for sewing leather or faux leather or cork or vinyl, anything that a traditional foot would probably stick to. And here's the back, so it just glides over harder to deal with fabrics. And this is the 1/4 inch foot. This comes in handy for piecing, for quilting. It gives you an accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. See that ridge there on the bottom right hand corner? That's where you line your fabric up and you get a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And here's a darning foot. This is for free motion quilting. See where it's open there? Then that spring, it allows it to hop up and down. And here's the buttonhole foot. And it also came with a walking foot and this guide bar right here, and it's really neat. What it does is you slide this guide bar to whatever dimension away you want to stitch. This is for quilting. So let's say you want all your quilting rows 2 inches apart. You would move the bar to 2 inches, and then you sew along like this, and then on your next row you would line that up with your previous stitching so everything stays accurate. So that's really cool. And then this comes off, of course, and you can use just the walking foot by itself. And the machine also came with 2 screwdrivers. It also came with a lint brush and a spool cap, and it came with another spool cap, but I have it on the machine. It came with a seam ripper and an extra spool where you can wind a bobbin using this spool, and you don't have to use your main spool post. And it also came with 10 bobbins. Here's a little tour of the machine. It comes with this case. It's hard plastic. Here's the machine. And I like that it is mechanical. It's not electronic, so there's less to go wrong. And it has 18 different stitches and then a buttonhole stitch. There's one buttonhole stitch, and what I really like about this is it shows you the order that it stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that comes in handy, I think. And then it has the decorative stitches and your zigzag and your straight stitch and any stitches you would need for sewing. And here, this knob right here is how you change the stitch that you want. So the red line is on 12, which is a zigzag, and then you just turn it and it flips to the different whatever stitch you want. So that's really neat, I think. It's pretty intuitive. You can just sit down and select your stitches and go. You don't have to read the manual, figure out how to get which stitch. And then here's your stitch length and your stitch width. And you just push those back and forth to select which width and length you want. And it goes from 0 to 6 and then 0 to 4. And then here's the back stitch button. And then your hand wheel, of course. And another thing I really love about this machine and what came with it is this little seam guide right here. You put it where the seam allowance that you're sewing and attach it, and then your fabric runs along that side right there. So I thought that was really neat that a seam guide came with this machine. And then here's the little, and it's also a storage case for things you might need. And then there's the free arm, and then it comes with a handle, carrying handle, and then you lift this up. And if there's a glare on here, I apologize, and I will insert a picture so you can see this closer up because it's really neat. But it has the sewing guide, and it shows whatever stitch you want to use. It has a picture of it, and then it tells you what stitch width and length you need for those stitches, and then it also tells you which foot to use for the different stitches, and then what thread tension to use. See if I can get the glare off of it. Is that better? So I think that's really neat. You could just, like I said, sit down and look up the stitch you need and have the settings and go. And then this is also a nice feature, I think. There's little slots for the different feet. There's A, B, C, D, and E foot. So that's really handy. And then here's your tension. And then here's your presser foot pressure, which is great to have on a machine. And it also came with the instruction booklet, of course, and 2 packs of needles. So that's a little tour of my new Janome HD-3000BE. So what do you guys think about the bargain I got on a brand new sewing machine? I have sewn with it. It sews beautifully. You can tell from the sound of the motor that it's a really good machine. And I am just so tickled with the bargain I got. You guys know I love a bargain. So that's the backstory and the tour of my new sewing machine. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. It really means a lot to me and it encourages me to keep making videos. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed thus far. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you would. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye!